Hello, it's me, Hoshino-nya. Hello, good morning. At least it's morning here. Oh my god, I didn't make any coffee this morning. It's like when I went to go live, my start screen wasn't ready. That's okay. Hello, welcome. We are gonna get right into it. We had just finished last week the chapter at the Watsunagashi Festival. We learned who Oyashiro-sama is the guardian deity of Hinamizawa. And every year, for the last 4 years on this festival, someone has died or disappeared. And our friends don't want to talk about it. We're going to continue. Continue. Load. Ohayo. Nice job yesterday, Kei-chan. You didn't do so badly yourself, Myon. Yesterday was fun. Oh, that's right, Keiichi-kun. Thank you very much. For Mr. Bear. I'm glad you like it. Don't use it as a pincushion, though. I wouldn't. Still chatting happily, we entered the classroom, but the moment I stepped in the room, a splashing sound and a nasty sensation. It was a bucket filled to the brim with water, and unfortunately, my foot stepped right into it. My now! How diligent of you to mop the floor this morning! Clomp, 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 flip, biff. Keiichi-san flicked my forehead! You should set up more of a brutal trap next time. Seeing that, Reina began to swoon as Myon looked up dejectedly. Everything was the same as always. Everybody was there, and nothing felt out of place. The uncertainties I'd had in the back of my mind since yesterday had vanished. What is it, Keiichi-kun? Didn't get enough sleep, maybe? Maybe? I slept like a log, but if you want, I'll do a reenactment during class. But no, you shouldn't do that. Myon alerted us that the teacher was coming, so everyone shuffled off to their seats. Good morning, everyone. So yesterday was the festival. Thank you to all the people who stayed until the very end to help clean up. We were all slackers, so none of us actually helped clean up. Actually, I had a feeling that the only thing we did was run around the festival and cause a ruckus. Okay then. This time of year, you might see some people from out of town doing interviews about the festival for magazines. I thought it was usual stuff, so I was going to tune it out. Then I noticed a different tone in her voice, and I started to pay attention. You may be asked questions. Please don't say anything silly or something that could be taken the wrong way. Do you understand? In unison, everyone replied, "Yes, ma'am." What she said was really vague, but I understood what she was trying to say. After all, this was the 5th year. There were probably lots of third-rate reporters pouring in, hoping something regarding the curse had happened. I did nothing but perpetuate the village's bad image. She was saying, don't spout stupid shit you think is funny. And now, I was one of the ones who needed help keeping their mouths shut. I found it rather cute how I felt a sense of unity for such a trite thing, if I say so myself. I was summoned to club activities after school. Since everybody was pretty tired from yesterday, we just spent the day relaxing. Yeah, that wasn't happening. Today, let's play a classic game of deduction. How about this one? Ooh, we're game from overseas. Looks interesting. The instructions are in English, but the rules don't seem that hard. I won't lose, you hear? I'm not too bad at this game. It seemed that Reina didn't handle this kind of game very well. The rules are, the person who can match the murderer weapon and the scene of the crime wins. There were 3 kinds of cards comprised of suspects, weapons, and locations. I could see that the names Mio and Rika were written on the suspect cards. Ooh, a card with my name on it as well. There are plenty of different weapons too, like knives, axes, and poison. The locations are pretty nice too, like the living room, the study, the courtyard. So basically, you take out one of each of the cards. These are the answer cards. So we shuffle the remaining cards and hand them out. We ask each other about the cards and figure out the right ones. Ah, I see. So the cards nobody has are the true perpetrators. Then you raise your hand if you know the answer. The game ends and we check if the answer's right. If you're right, you get a point. If you are wrong, you lose a point. Since the game ends if no one gets it right, all the cards are gathered up and redistributed. You'll learn as we go. You really have to use your brain. You'll get confused if you don't take notes. The rest of you can figure out playing. So Mion, what's the penalty of the game? Everyone directed their attention to Mion. Let's see. We're all still a little tired from yesterday, so maybe I'll take it easy with a gopher penalty. You'll be asked to rush out and buy stuff for everyone. So just being asked to go buy stuff like drinks and candy, I guess? I feel like the penalty today is pretty simple. I wonder, is it really? Is Keiichi-san thinking what I'm thinking? Yeah. You don't know what you'll have to go buy. I'm betting Mion would send someone out who loses to buy stuff like hemorrhoid cream or happy family planning manual or something crazy like that. The cards were lightly shuffled and passed out to each player. The real perpetrator, the correct weapon, and the scene of the murder had all been taken out. So that means all the cards we have in our hands are innocent cards. Then I'll go first, since I'm the club president, I guess. Well then, Mion, knife, study. You pick one suspect, weapon, and murder scene and ask each person. If you have any of those cards, then you must say I have one. However, if you don't need to say which one you have. Yeah, I got it. Me too. I have one. Oh my, all the cards are here. 3 people answered, and then she asked if they had Mion, knife, study. So that means Mion, knife, and study are all in the clear. I gotta jot that down. Then I'll go. Reina, axe, lounge. Only 2 people have said they had one. So it means out of Reina, axe, and lounge, one of them is correct and is part of the crime? No, wait. Even if they say they have one, they don't have to say how many. It's possible that either Satoko or Rika-chan has 2 of the cards. Well, Kei-chan is next. Go ahead. Well, wait, it just is little. I'm still sorting things out here. The game has me thinking way more than I thought. Oh man, this feels like it's gonna be tough. Alright, now I have the criminal. What? Already? Here I am spinning around in circles. Mion just now raises her hand. The murderer's Rika-chan. In the infirmary with poison. Well? Mion drew the cards from the box and checked to see if her deduction was right. You were right! Ugh. All I needed was one more hand. I couldn't tell whether it was poison or a pistol. I'd never use a pistol. I like killing them slowly with poison. Rika-chan's such a poor, hugely terrifying thing with such a sweet little face. Everyone was making a commotion about how they almost had it. Rain and I were left out in the cold, though. How did you do, Keiichi-kun? I couldn't get it at all. Don't worry. I had no idea either. How can you both be so unsure? You'll both end up in last place together at this rate. That's even worse. Going off and buying something together as a couple? What if we ended up having to buy a happy family planning guide? I can tell from Keiichi's expression that he is not very good at this game. What? That's not true. I'll show you the true power of Sherlock Maibara during the next round. My, that sounds just wonderful. I shall give you quite the thrashing. After that, I managed to somewhat grasp the trick behind the game, but I was still always a step or two behind. I saw that Mion was somehow gleaning information from how the others were asking their questions. That level of experience was just too much. The only way I could stage a comeback was if I became ruthless. I tossed out a simple concept of deduction and switched over to a thought process that I needed to win. The important thing isn't to find the criminal, it's to win the game. Eureka. Sorry, I need to go to the bathroom. Take your time and squeeze out a nice one. Mii-chan, that's gross. I had them hold off the game and headed down the hall. The air was crisp. It showed just how stagnant the air in the classroom was from our body heat. On the school grounds, some of the classmates were still playing around. After spending some time cooling my head, Reina had made her way towards me. Keiichi-kun, did you call for me? Yeah, I did. As I got up from my seat, I winked over at Reina. I'm glad it worked out. I won't want to waste much time, so I'll get right to the point. Reina, what's your record at this game we're playing today? She was taken aback, for after a moment, she hesitantly opened her mouth. Well, all losses. Why do you ask, I wonder? I could tell from how apprehensively she was playing. The way things are going, I will as well. I can't figure out a way to pull off the last-minute comeback on this one. So, I guess both of us will be taking that penalty? Hey, don't accept defeat already. How about we win this? Both of us. But how can we? I brought my lips up to Reina's ear. Huh? Is that allowed? Did you forget, Reina? The second rule of our society. Do everything in your power to obtain victory. Yeah, I'll try my best. Our plan of attack was quite a rudimentary one. At the beginning of the game, everyone would be focused on their own hand for a while, taking notes and whatnot. Since our seats were right next to each other, we'd reveal our hands to each other. If we did it under the desk, no one would know. We'd begin the game with twice as much information as everyone else. Having this much info would mean we'd need to investigate less. With this sort of plan of attack, we start off with a big lead over the other guys. Yeah, with this we can probably win. We both smirked at each other. If it was shady businessmen, then Reina was the corrupt senator. Pleasure doing business with you. Let's hurry back. We'll work as a duo and surprise everyone. Hey now, there's no point if we go back together. It would be like flat out telling them we made a little arrangement. Oh, sorry. Then what should we do? Go back ahead of me, Reina. I'll take my time coming back after washing my face or something. Okay, got it. Reina turned around and headed back to the classroom. I should wait a bit longer before going back. If I went too soon, it wouldn't seem like I went to the bathroom. If Mion or one of them suspected something, then there could be problems. Well, they figured it out sooner or later because both Reina and I would start winning over and over. Both Reina and I will have earned enough points to avoid being the losers this time, before Mion will realize what's happening. Excellent. Not bad at all. Maibara-kun, may I have a moment? Huh? It's the teacher. Man, things were just getting good. What is it? You have a guest. Please take your way to the entrance. Guest? It's not like I own a hotel. They have been waiting. Please hurry. It was rather unfortunate that I have someone waiting on me right before a big match, but I was more interested in the unexpected guest. I didn't want to waste any time, so I decided to go take care of it quickly. The entryway was heavy in contrast from the hot sunlight and the deep shadows. Waiting there, looking uncomfortably warm, was a middle-aged man, his tie sloppily loosened and his jacket tucked underneath his arm. "Are you Maibara-kun? Keiichi Maibara-san?" There was no question that he wasn't a resident of Hinamizawa, and at this there was no doubt that this was the first time he had met me. Ever since I met Tomotaki-san, I've been running into so many middle-aged men. "That's right. Who might you be?" "I have the AC on in my car. Let's talk there." "It's a bit hot here, don't you think?" The man, completely ignoring my question, pointing over to his car parked near the gate, and began walking. "You've got to be kidding me. I had no intention of going along with some geezer I don't even know, and he was asking me to get in his car with him? I'm not gonna bite. Come on now." He opened the back door of his car and called me over. I didn't like this old man, but I wanted to know what he was about, even while knowing that the conversation that started out like this had never led to anything good. The inside of his car was pretty cool. Cars with air conditioners were supposed to be a luxury. My dad didn't even have one in his car, at least. "Please let me know if it's too cold, okay?" I have a bit of a habit of cranking it all the way up. "What business do you have with me?" Out of spite, I decided to ignore his remark in the same way he did of mine and to start my own line of questioning. He pulled out a notepad from his pocket and took out a picture that was stuck between the pages. On it was the face of a pretty goofy-looking guy. "If you know anything related to this individual, then please tell me. Who the heck is this?" I don't even know his close friends would be able to recognize who he was from this expressionless picture that looked like it was taken at the DMV. There were scribbles on the shirt done in permanent marker, starting with yours, Maibara-san, and quite a few of your classmates signed it as well. "Huh? This is Tomotaki-san?" There was no hint of his usual unreliable and easygoing personality in this photo. It was an expressionless, half-asleep face. "And do you know this woman?" Even before seeing it, I had a good idea of who it was. I don't remember her name, but she is some lady who was with Tomotaki-san last night. I don't know what her name is, but I do know she was a resident of Hinamizawa." "When was the last time you saw those two?" "The night of Watsunagashi. We spoke. They seem pretty close, I guess." "Did anything bother you about them?" "Anything is fine. Go ahead, say it." Being asked for every little detail is very troubling, honestly. I had a pretty good idea of who this guy was by now. "Did something happen to them?" There was no response to my inquiry, thus I replied to the silence in kind. I was pretty sure, no, I was certain, that this guy was a cop. Then why? Why was he asking me about Tomotaki-san? Did something happen? More importantly, why me? Shouldn't there have been plenty of other people who knew more about him than I did? The roar of the air conditioner felt unbearably loud. After a long pause, he spoke again. "You've moved here just recently, isn't that right, Maibara-san? Are you aware, I wonder, about the stories of Oyashiro-sama?" My heart began to race. I'm pretty terrible at hiding things. They probably showed on my face. "Not at all? If you don't, then that's fine." "Well, I have heard of it. Tomotaki-san told me, actually." "How much do you know?" "The dismemberment killing, the accidental death, the death by illness followed by a suicide, and the lady who was beaten to death. The incidents were always happening on the day of Watsunagashi, ending in suspicious deaths. I didn't think Tomotaki-san would have kept anything from me. I think that was everything. No, rather, I didn't want to think there was anything more than that. Do you know of that, well, curse, Maibara-san? Feel free to speak openly." "I don't believe in it." My answer was instant. It wasn't so much that I didn't believe in it as I was on the verge of believing. I wanted to be clear away my own doubts. That was the more prominent feeling. Really? And that's great. Guess you really are one of those city-raised boys. So what if I don't believe? I have friends waiting, so could you get to the point? The man in that picture is dead. My mind went blank. Huh? What happened to Tomotaki-san? Seemed he died last night. That was the night of Watanagashi. Do you understand the implications behind that, my Bara-san? Implications? Not any for the cause of death or reasons behind it. The real problem was that he died in the day of Watanagashi, meaning this year, the curse of Oyashiro-sama has happened once again. The death of Jiro Tomotaki is still confidential. You can understand why that is, right? I wonder why this guy speaks so openly about deaths. Pretty sure it's because he's a cop. He's trying to get us to, spill the beans. I didn't want to understand why. Please tell me. Tell me what happened. It was rather peculiar. It might be a little too graphic for someone born and raised in Hinamizawa. It was a roundabout way of saying, but it caused me to doubt whether or not I wanted to hear the rest. I would only regret forcing myself to learn something I shouldn't. Or at least, that's how I figure I would feel if I listened to the rest. One of our patrol cars discovered the body on the way back in the security detail of the festival. It was late, about 5 till midnight. The location was, you know where the road in town turns into paved, right? Down past the slope on the shoulder around there. There were a few streetlights on the road. It was pitch black darkness, and only broken by the lights of passing cars and the moon. It was a stroke of luck that Tomotaki-san was spotted collapsed on the shoulder of the road. Tomotaki-san was face down and covered in blood. Blood and muck covered the asphalt. We thought it was hit and run at first, but then the officer checked to see if he was still alive, and he quickly noticed something abnormal. His throat had been ripped open. From a knife or something? No. Nails. Nails? Like fingernails? With those he clawed through? From the coroner's report, it was revealed that with his own nails. Huh? What does that mean? Basically, it means it wasn't a murder. It was suicide. Tomotaki-san thought there was a reason to tear open his own throat. As hard as he could with his own nails, he tore through his skin until he started to bleed, and even then Tomotaki-san did not stop. Continued the clawing. With enough intensity that I could have peeled off his nails, but he was still clawing. Still clawing. Then, as his nails reached those vital arteries that should never be damaged, he continued clawing. Spurt and blood splattered on the ground around him. And as he bled, while gasping for breath, he collapsed, his body spasmed, and he died in agony. We thought drugs were to blame, but nothing of that nature was detected. But this? It was a suicide. I've never heard of such a thing. This is an unnatural way of dying. If this wasn't a mysterious death, then what was it? The way he died in these 5 years, his death the most resembled that of a curse. As if to show both myself and Tomotaki-san, who proclaimed there was no such thing as curse, that we were wrong. There were a few more suspicious details. From his body chemistry, perspiration, epilation, and so on, we concluded that he was in a state of hysteria right before his death. Well, that was a given. It's hard to believe someone could be at that state of mind while clawing out their own throat. Wounds on his hands matched the discarded piece of lumber found nearby. There were traces of where he struck trees and guardrails with it. Tomotaki-san's blood was found all over the place, meaning that while he was tearing his own throat, he was swinging around a piece of lumber. There were external injuries, which were not self-inflicted, discovered on Tomotaki-san. There was a high probability that Tomotaki-san was assaulted. The external injuries suggest there may have been multiple suspects. To summarize, Tomotaki-san was surrounded and attacked. While wandering the night roads in a state of panic after being cornered, he picked up a piece of lumber and tried fighting back. Somewhere in there, he began madly tearing at his own throat, clawing at it. Then, he died. The presumed time of death was around 9:23 p.m., meaning it occurred right after you finished talking to him at the festival. Everyone signed Tomotaki's shirt and then parted ways. And right after that, oh yeah, he should have been with a woman. What about her? She's missing. She didn't show up to work and she hasn't returned home either. There's a very high probability that she was involved in this incident. For a while I could only gaze off into space. I never would have thought that something unfortunate happened to somebody so close to me could affect me this deeply. The time I had spent with Tomotaki-san was short, but we were meant the same festival, spent time together, and took part in the same competition. He was one of us. We have been continuing the investigation on various fronts, but when it comes to Oyashiro-sama's curse, the villagers aren't very cooperative. That I knew well. I would have been none the wiser if not for Tomotaki-san, the outsider, having to tell me. So that's why you came to me. Get a sip. Because I'm not from Hinamizawa? I should have been angry that the person who wanted to hear this was happening for me. If things go the way they have been, then the conclusion would be that Jiro Tomotaki died on Yoshiro-sama's curse. He turned away from me and gazed afar into the distance. The night of Watsunagashi, during that sacred ritual, callously snapped off photos, angering Oroshio-sama. And that's how it's going to turn out. There's no way Oroshio-sama would inflict divine punishment on Tomotaki-san. Tomotaki-san had to have been killed by humans or a cowardly group, no less. There's no way I'm going to let this end up being the fault of someone's curse. I think so as well. There's no such thing as a divine punishment or curses. The tense mood was cut when a man's hearty laugh. That's how it must be, my Bara-san. Cooperation from individuals in Hinamizawa who don't believe in the curse is indispensable. Understand? Neither Tomotaki-san nor I believed in curses. With this wings are going, it would just end up that Tomotaki-san's death marking the 5th year. Which would mean that Hinamizawa had rejected Tomotaki-san. That was something I could not allow. Tomotaki-san was one of us. He didn't live in Hinamizawa, but he came every single year. In a sense, he was more of a resident than I was. There was no way that Tomotaki-san could have been cursed by Oyashiro-sama. But there's nothing I could do to help. I have no idea what happened that night either. No. If you see or hear something that draws your attention, then it's enough. If I see or hear? He was talking in future tense. Things or people or rumors, anything is fine. I don't care if they're unfounded. Here, take this. This is my number. If I'm not here, then just leave a message with whoever picks up. He handed me a piece of paper with his number on it, but I hesitated for a second. If I took it, then whether I wanted to or not, I'd be mired knee-deep in this matter. Please, help me solve these questions surrounding Tomotaki-san's unfortunate death. That's right. Why was I hesitating? I needed to find the murderer who killed my friend. I snatched up the piece of paper as a satisfied grin spread across his face. Everything we spoke of today is secret. Please keep it confidential. Understood. From your friends as well, especially from Sonosaki-san and Furude-san. Please do not inform them. Sonozaki? You mean Myon? Why? Are you saying they have something to do with this? With my friends' names brought up so abruptly, and being told to keep it a secret, I became rather angry. This is what they call investigative privilege, I suppose. Don't play games with me. Myon is a close friend. I snapped at him. He didn't even seem especially offended. I wouldn't mind telling you, but it may just upset you. Say it. He hesitated. Turning his gaze to the outside of the car, he began to speak after a bit. There is a possibility that the string of incidents happening here in Hinamizawa are a result of village conspiracy. There's no way that could be right. Give me a break. First of all, is there any proof? No evidence. Also, each of the cases were resolved and none of the perpetrators had any direct connection to the village. Then how did you come to that conclusion? Every year, the enemies of the village die on the day of Watanagashi. Don't you think that's enough reason to suspect something? Only the residents of Hinamizawa felt that the day of Watanagashi was sacred. So basically, because incidents happened on that day, it was somehow related to Hinamizawa? First, it was the dam construction foreman. Then it was a villager who supported it. Those the village hold a grudge against die each one after the other in mysterious cases. That means they are different, but in the end the result is the same. Unfounded, unreasonable suspicion. But it couldn't just be shrugged off. So the victims after that, what about the Shinto priest and his wife? They weren't enemies of the village. The village had expected leadership from the Shinto priest at the time of the dam dispute, but he wasn't proactive, so there was a fraction of villagers who harbored ill will towards him as a result. Ill will? It's not like he did anything bad in the village. What about his housewife after that? Did she die just because she was the wife of a brother of a supporter? That's such a trivial reason to kill someone. And what about Tomotaki-san? He's not affiliated with the dam project at all. He was just killed just because he was an outsider? In the beginning, it fell on those related to the dam project, but as the years went on, the enemy threshold of victims had become much lower. That's the scary part. The bar keeps getting lower. What's scary about that? It means it's not just enemies of the village anymore. Just being an outsider will be reason enough. Then, next year's victim, they're just gonna be picked out of the villager outsider pool? Might be a person that just moved here. What do you mean by that? I swallowed my words. Here in Hinamizawa, the ones who would be considered the most outside would be my family. I was proof of that, wasn't it? I still couldn't really remember the names of the people I passed by. Then the next victims, my family. Was he saying it was going to be me? What does that have to do with Mion? I can't go into details, but the Sonozaki family led the dam protests. Quite fervently so. This is also true of Mion Sonozaki herself. She has quite a few misdemeanor and obstruction of public worker offenses on her record because of the protests. I knew Mion knew what I meant to fight. This was the first I'd heard of her family leading the protests, though. Then, well, what did it all mean? Are you saying that Mion's family is involved with this string of incidents? I wouldn't go that far. I'm just saying that if it was a conspiracy, then it'd have the highest probability of being behind it. Not a very clear explanation. It felt like he had magnificently avoided the details I really wanted to know. We don't know who or how involved anyone is right now. That is exactly why I don't want you to say anything to the villagers. Instead of answering, I gave a very bitter expression. It seemed that he understood it well enough. Then think of it like this. I don't want to worry the villagers who blindly believe it's a curse. How about that? What do you mean, how about that? How should I know? But the reasoning behind wanting me to not carelessly open my mouth wasn't too hard to comprehend. The perpetrator was here. It had nothing to do with the curse. He was definitely going to be caught by the police and made to pay for his crimes. And none of the villagers should have anything to do with that process. It may cause those sensitive about the curse to worry needlessly. Just like everyone kept it from me so I wouldn't worry about it. Is it now my turn to keep it from them so they don't worry? I was just talking to myself. Unlike me, everyone else had been worrying over these mysterious incidents sincerely, and the incident this time probably means a lot more to them. I didn't. I didn't want to burden them anymore. In the end, everything went as the man had wanted, as insipid as it was, but I couldn't be helped. I understand. I'll keep it to myself. Is that fine, Mr. Oishi, from the Okinawa police station? You can call me Kuro-chan if you want. No, Oishi-san is fine. The way he said it was unpleasant, yet retained the hints of politeness. He was a spitting image of a vulgar police officer, though I'd never seen one of the bulky in the cop shows I watch. I've taken up too much time. Your friends are probably waiting, aren't they? I should probably let you get back to them. The door opened with a click, and it steamed out the oppressive heat. It was blistering outside the car. Was it really this hot of a day? There was almost cruel heat, as opposed to the mechanical coolness inside the car. It was as if the land of Hinamizawa itself suddenly hated me. I felt a little sad as that thought crossed my mind. I didn't mean to suspect your friends. Please don't misunderstand that. I refrained from telling him that it was too late to say something so self-serving. It's fine if you don't see or hear anything, my Bara-san. There is enough proof that the village is not involved. I'll contact you if I hear anything. But I'm not detective. Please don't expect too much from me. Oh, well, you don't have to become a detective. Just go on living as you are up until now. Just let me know if you notice anything. I hastily made my way back to the school building after giving him a quick bow. See you later. Farewell, my Barakun. I returned to the school building without looking back. I don't know how much time had passed. I did feel bad for keeping them waiting, but right now there was a lot on my mind. Tomotaki-san's death was hard enough as it was. But to think there was a possibility of village conspiracy? Worse still, there was also a chance that Mion was involved. Nonsense. Impossible. Not Mion, Reina, Satoko, or Rika-chan. It was a group that attacked Tomotaki-san. Who could the perpetrators be? Could it be they were hiding here? Somewhere in Hinamizawa? I don't know. All I could say for certain was that I knew that Mion couldn't be the perpetrator. It's me-chan, the perpetrator. Huh. I was startled to hear Reina's voice. With the rope in the, lounge? Nope. No! Reina clutched her head while flailing about. Looks like you're just health-destructed over there. Wow. Ah! Keiichi-san, you're quite late. As you may well know, I'm seething with anger. Sorry about that. I was called to the staff room, you see. You were reprimanded for bad behavior? That's a shame. Well, it's been pretty heated over here. Since it's getting pretty late, let's make the next game the last one. If I remembered right, I had 0 points. Isn't it pretty much decided I'm going to be finishing in last? Don't worry, Keiichi-kun. I'm at -1 points. Oh. The heck? Her score is lower than mine. This is the final match to decide if the penalty is going to be carried out by Reina alone or both Keiichi and Reina. Yeah, right. Just let Reina do the penalty by herself. We made a promise, Keiichi-kun, that we would both win. I waited all this time, you know? Sorry about that. I followed my initial plan of showing Reina my cards, but I didn't say who was the criminal and just waited for her to call. I got it! The murderer is me! With the poison at the entrance. Is it? My, Reina. Quite the quick answer. Another stab in the dark? Oh. Reina's correct. Oh, Then it's decided that Keiichi-san shall take part in the penalty as well. Hooray! Keiichi-kun, let's both do our best. Yeah, let's do our best. It's my fault, so I have no choice. Then that's game. It's me, Mion Sonozaki, ranked first. In dead last are Keiichi Maibar and Reina Ryugyu. Everyone applauded as the game ended. The problem now was the penalty. Now then, I ranked first, so I'll decide what you'll be buying for me as the gopher penalty. What will she make us buy, I wonder? Let's blacklist the drugstore. That was your aim, wasn't it? Huh? I don't have any business at the drugstore. This old man's already got a list prepared for you on this piece of paper. Whoa, there's a lot written here. A lot? Damn it. What was she making us buy? 2 blocks of tofu, shampoo and conditioner, apple vinegar and fried tofu. The heck is this? It looks more like a shopping list than a penalty. Me was certain she was gonna win today. Rule 7 of our society. You cannot refuse any penalty. Here's some money. The shampoo I usually get is Fruit Fable. Thank you. This is just a grocery list. I promised myself that if I won next time, I'd make her go buy Hamroad Cream. New tips? Wow. Save here. Save. Wow, that was a short chapter today. My goodness. Well, let's read the tips. Oh, wait, actually, just show me the new one so I don't get confused. View new tips. There are more than 4 perpetrators. Sorry, I had a message. Hypovolemic shock, induced by clawing out their own throat. Tissue is packed under the nails, not someone else's nails. It's undoubtedly by the individual's own nails. The shape of the scars also matches. Yeah. I know the immediate cause of death was suicide. I get it. You're saying the cause of death is unnatural, right? It's kind of like when your back itches and you scratch it a little too hard and draw some blood. Some of Tomotaki's fingernails had been pulled out. It's actually quite simple to pull out one's own nails, but it really hurts. Under normal circumstances, the pain would prevent you from completely pulling them out. Also, there is a lot of bruises on Tomotaki's body. It's clear from the shape of him that he was assaulted first by someone or a group of people. According to the toxicology report, the deceased was in an extreme state of hysteria right before death. Then he found the back and clawed out his own throat because of how hysterical he had become. The guys attacking him certainly would have been surprised by that. It is possible that, in such an abnormal environment, a person could perform acts of that sane individual couldn't possibly imagine. Of course, those are very rare cases. Actually, Oishi-kun, that wood plank the deceased used as a weapon. They only found sand and paint from the guardrail on it. What about the cloth fibers or skin? Nothing. The deceased didn't strike the assailants. Or it could be they took the plank that he was fighting back with. In that case, they wouldn't have gone out of their way to replace it with another. They'd take them all. Har har har. Yeah, that's true. Tomotaki-san's pretty built and tanned. He was quite athletic. Huh? Yeah, that's right. He was pretty active. Can't imagine what kind of sports he did when he was alive, but I think his physical strength would be on the higher side. Meaning, he would be difficult to overpower in a brawl. If a man with such physique sensed he was in danger and swung a plank around, it's just unthinkable that it wouldn't even nick the perpetrator. And his opponent was unarmed. This guy had a wooden plank, so you'd think he'd hit him at least once. To surround and take out someone of his own physique. I wonder how many people it would have taken. You dimwit. You should know better than anyone. Have you forgotten your bad cop days? If I was to take down this guy, how many would I need? When a group wants to take down a big prey, it's fundamental to attack in numbers. I'd guess about 4. Even if there was a gap in their strength they'd manage, then there are quite a few perpetrators. So any drunken disorderly groups of more than 4 suspicious? A group of 4 or more. Just, if they had that many, why couldn't they have hidden the body in a less obvious location? Or did he somehow break away in that fatal predicament? Then there would be no reason to commit suicide. Moreover, I still can't comprehend the irregular way he died. It's full of mysteries. That's under serious considerations on my end, too. I'll be examining it as thoroughly as possible, but don't get your hopes up. After all, we've never encountered a death like this before. Not hoping for much, but I am looking forward to the results. Oishi-san, the chief's calling for you. Thanks. I'll see you around. Yeah. Best wishes. Search notice. Jiro Tomotaki, deceased. Resided in a cheap hotel in the Shishibone city. Registered under the name of Jiro Tomotaki. Pen name. Travels via folding bike. No license. The bicycle was found 300 meters away, abandoned at the side of the forest path. Present on the day of the festival. Accompanied by missing Mio Takano. Was seen around 9 p.m. by police. Location afterwards unknown. Held residence in Hinamizawa for 1 week, each season for the last 5 to 6 years. Freelance photographer specializing in wild birds. Check magazine companies. Nothing suspicious in film located among the articles of the deceased. While it was among the articles of the deceased, a mere act of violence? From the contents in his wallet, he spent most of his time around Tokyo and Chiba, along with the Sobu National Railway line? No individual matchings of the name Jiro Tomotaki in the residency records of Tokyo afterwards. Compared teeth and dental records. Sent to Metro Police. Attach a photo. Sent to Metro Police. Contacting magazines regarding Jiro Tomotaki. Mio Takano. Missing. Nurse at the Earache Clinic. Became close to Tomotaki through her passion for wild bird photography. Resides in Okinawa. Redacted district redacted. Single. Witnessed accompanying Tomotaki-san on the festival grounds. Is currently missing. Abducted? Or maybe suspect. An important person of interest. Had no motive to kill the deceased. Squabble from jealousy? No need to thoroughly investigate the relationship. Place of work, etc. Need to get information on the police on scene again. I want some cream puffs. 4 jumbo ones. Oishi. Woo! Chapter 7's done! We did it! Yay! This is some fun music to end on anyway. Woo! Well, there we go. The one friend we made is dead. Yeah, that was short. I guess, I mean, with how long the last chapter was, I guess fair. But still, I don't know. I expected there to be more when it was a chapter that revealed a death. And possibly our friends are behind it, or at least Mion. Mion's family might be doing something. And Rika. We'll be continuing this story next week. Same time, same day, same channel. We'll be streaming tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're gonna be trying to play Minecraft. I haven't played it yet on the channel, so that should be fun. Nice chill time. But other than that, I hope everyone has a good day, morning, evening, night, whatever it is for you. It was me, Hoshinonya. Bye bye.